Hello hockey fans, and welcome back to another episode of Whatever Happened To? The series where we take a where are they now look at players who found success in the National Hockey League but are no longer permanent fixtures in the league, either due to controversy, poor play, or just rotten luck. In today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at an 11-year veteran of the league, as we ask, whatever happened to Daniel Winnik? Before we begin, I just want to mention that over 80% of you who have watched my videos this month have not subscribed to my channel, so if you do enjoy this video and you want to see more like it in the future, consider hitting that subscribe button. It would really help me out a lot, folks. But anyways, on with the video. The 265th overall pick of the 2004 NHL entry draft by the Phoenix Coyotes, Daniel Winnik spent the next 2 seasons following his draft selection with Hockey East's University of New Hampshire, where he earned a reputation as a point-per-game player thanks to scoring exactly 81 points in 81 games. These numbers also helped Winnik earn some notable awards too, such as a place on the NCAA's All-Tournament team in 04-05, as well as a second-team All-Star nod in 05-06. After finishing his time at university, Winnik then joined the Coyotes' AHL affiliate at the time, the San Antonio Rampage, towards the conclusion of the 05-06 season. The 9th round draft pick then spent the remainder of that year, as well as the following 06-07 season with the Rampage, being used primarily in a bottom 6 checking role and scoring 23 points in 73 AHL games. The 07-08 season saw the beginning of Winnik's NHL career, as he earned a spot on the Phoenix Coyotes roster out of training camp and took to the ice with the team in his NHL debut. Not only did he stick with the team for the entire year, but he was able to produce a pretty impressive rookie season, as he scored 11 goals and 26 points in 79 games, whilst playing in the Coyotes' bottom 6 as a checking, penalty-killing forward, a role he would end up playing for the entirety of his NHL career. However, the Canadian would follow up his decent debut with a terrible sophomore slump, scoring just 3 goals and 7 points due to both injuries and being sent down to the minors for a 5-game stint. Winnik's production in his first year, and lack thereof in the second, wouldn't be able to help the Coyotes make an appearance in the playoffs, as they missed out on the postseason in both 2008 and 2009. Despite recently spending some time in the minors due to his disappointing play, Winnik's production in the years to come would help him stick around the best league in the world for an entire decade. Once his entry-level contract had expired during the 2009 offseason, and having signed a 1-year, $600,000 contract with the Coyotes for the 09-10 season, Winnik produced somewhat of a rebound year, scoring 4 goals and 19 points in 74 games. This modest production also helped Winnik make his first appearance in the Stanley Cup playoffs, where he went scoreless in 7 games, as Phoenix were eliminated in the first round by the Detroit Red Wings. Then, on June 28, 2010, the Coyotes announced that they had traded Winnik to the Colorado Avalanche in exchange for a 2012 4th-round pick. Colorado then quickly signed the restricted free agent to a 2-year contract worth $950,000 a season on July 2, 2010, in order for him to remain in Colorado for the immediate future. During his stint with the Avalanche, Winnik would continue to put up similar numbers compared to his time with the Coyotes, as he notched 11 goals and 26 points in 80 games during the 10-11 season, tying his rookie numbers, as well as 5 goals and 18 points in 63 games during the 11-12 season. Before the latter season was up though, it was announced on February 27, 2012 that Winnik had been traded again, this time to the San Jose Sharks, along with TJ Galliardi and a 2013 7th-round pick in exchange for Jamie McGinn, Mike Connolly and Michael Scarbosa. Winnik's time in San Jose would be brief and pretty uneventful, as he would score 3 goals and 5 points in 21 games to finish off the 11-12 season. He did help the Sharks make it to the playoffs, but he scored just a single point in 5 games, as the Sharks were eliminated in the first round by the St. Louis Blues. After his 2-year contract that he had originally signed with Colorado was up, Winnik decided that he wanted to stay in sunny California, but changed the team he was playing for, as on July 20th, 2012, he signed a 2-year, $3.6 million contract worth an average annual value of $1.8 million a season with the Anaheim Ducks. Having just signed his first multi-million-dollar contract, the 27-year-old forward was ready to kick his production up a notch during the prime years of his career and show that this raise was money well spent. But first, there was a lockout! During the 12-13 lockout, Winnik decided that instead of suiting up for another North American team or heading across the pond to play in Europe, he would forego playing elsewhere and instead wait patiently until the NHL season got underway. How boring. Once the lockout ended and the season finally began, Winnik would suit up for the Ducks for the first time and have a pretty productive stint with his 4th NHL team, scoring 6 goals and 19 points in 48 games during the lockout-shortened year, as well as 6 goals and a career-high 30 points in 76 games in 13-14. These performances helped the Ducks make the playoffs in both years, where Winnik scored just a single point during each playoff run, as the Ducks were eliminated in the first round in 2013 by the Detroit Red Wings, and in the second round in 2014 by the Los Angeles Kings. Once his contract with the Ducks was up, and having just produced a career season for him, Winnik desperately wanted to go and play for his hometown team. So, on July 28, 2014, Winnik signed a 1-year, $1.3 million contract with the Toronto Maple Leafs. 7 years after joining the league, Winnik was finally getting the opportunity to return home and suit up for the first and only Original Six franchise of his career. Winnik would go on to play in 58 games with the Maple Leafs during the 14-15 season, scoring 7 goals and 25 points for his efforts, before being traded for the 3rd time in his career on February 25th, 2015, to the Pittsburgh Penguins, in exchange for Zach Sill, a 2015 4th-round pick, and a 2016 2nd-round pick. Winnik would then join the Penguins for the rest of the season and play well for the Pennsylvanian franchise, as he scored 2 goals and 9 points in 21 games, bringing his season totals to 34 points and a new career high. He also helped Pittsburgh make it to the playoffs, but unfortunately he went scoreless in 5 games, as the Penguins were eliminated in the first round by the New York Rangers. After his 1-year contract he had originally signed with Toronto had expired, Winnik decided that he was ready for round 2 in Ontario, as on July 1st, 2015, he signed with the Toronto Maple Leafs again, this time to a 2-year, $4.5 million contract worth an average annual value of $2.25 million a season. Having just signed the biggest contract of his career, Winnik was ready to spend the next few years with his hometown team. However, the former 9th-round pick would soon be on the move once again. Winnik would go on to suit up in another 56 games with the Leafs during the 15-16 season, where he scored 4 goals and 14 points, before being dealt away from the team again on February 28, 2016, along with a 2016 5th-round pick, to the Washington Capitals, in exchange for Brooks Laich, Connor Carrick, and a 2016 2nd-round pick. Winnik would then play the rest of his 2-year contract with the Capitals, scoring 2 goals and 5 points in 20 games late in the 15-16 season, and a career-high 12 goals and 25 points in 72 games during the 16-17 season. These efforts would help Washington make an appearance in the postseason both years, but unfortunately, Winnik's playoff scoring woes would continue. The Canadian forward went scoreless in 25 total playoff games with Washington, as the Capitals were eliminated in the second round of the playoffs by the Pittsburgh Penguins in both 2016 and 2017. After his 2-year contract he had originally signed with the Maple Leafs was up, rather than see if third time was the charm in Toronto, Winnik received minimal interest from NHL teams in signing him for the upcoming season. Having gone without a contract for the entire off-season, the 32-year-old accepted an invitation to attend the Minnesota Wild training camp on a PTO contract. The former 9th-round pick ended up impressing the Wild's coaching staff and front office enough that they signed him to a 1-year, $660,000 contract on October 4th, 2017. However, this would be the last contract of his NHL career. Winnik would go on to play the entire 17-18 season with the Wild and post stats that were consistent with the rest of his NHL career, as he scored 6 goals and 23 points in 81 games. These numbers helped Minnesota make it to the playoffs, where Winnik scored just a single point in 5 games during his 8th appearance in the postseason, but the Wild were eliminated in the first round by the Winnipeg Jets. Once his one-year deal with the Wild had expired, Minnesota weren't too interested in bringing the 33-year-old forward back for another season. With little to no interest from other NHL teams in signing him for the upcoming 18-19 season, and after being released from a PTO with the Boston Bruins just before opening night, on October 1st, 2018, Winnik decided to take his talents overseas, as he signed a one-year contract with Geneva Servette HC of the Swiss National League. After parts of 11 seasons in the best league in the world, Winnik was taking his talents across the pond to pastures new in order to see if he could become a key player and point producer for a team in Europe. Not only did Winnik play the 18-19 season with Geneva, but he also played the most recent 19-20 season with them too, having signed a 2-year contract extension with the Swiss side on February 7th, 2019. Over the past 2 seasons, the Canadian forward has been one of, if not the team's top point scorer, as he has notched 75 points in 90 regular season games and 3 points in 5 playoff games. He also won the 2020 Spengler Cup as a member of Team Canada, so at least he got his hands on a trophy before he's done playing. To this day, Daniel Winnik is still a member of Geneva Servette's roster. With him still contracted to the team for the upcoming 2021 season, Winnik shall likely be sticking around the Swiss side for another year, and I guess he'll see where things take him from there onwards. Considering he will be 36 years old when his contract expires, Winnik will likely do one of 3 things. Either he will re-sign with Geneva, join another team in the Swiss League or elsewhere in the hockey world, or he will decide to hang up his skates and call it a day on his career. All 3 options have plenty of positives and negatives, so I'm sure he will make the best decision for both himself and his family in the long run. But regardless of what happens after next season, there is no doubt that Daniel Winnik had a pretty impressive NHL career. In 798 regular season games, Winnik scored 82 goals and 169 assists for 251 points, as well as 4 points in 63 playoff games. Considering he also earned over $12 million during that span, I'm sure many of the players that were taken above him in the 2004 draft wish they could say the same. Not a bad career for a 9th round pick, eh folks? And there you go. That's what happened to Daniel Winnik. What do you guys think about Winnik's NHL career? Was it good, bad, or do you think we will see him return to the NHL in some capacity in the next few years? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear what you guys think. But thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, or watch some of my other videos. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye. A big thank you to Antti Hannanen, Chris Gadsby, Connor B, Jordan Whitehead, Paul Mallia, Roman from London, The Legacy, and Worthless Pieces, as well as a huge thank you to Max Artis for helping support this video via Patreon. If you too want to help support the channel a little bit further, and get a shout out at the end of every future video, make sure you head over to patreon.com/oddmanrush and become a patron today.